kick it off. All right. And welcome everyone to Ludus Magnus. I'm joined here with Alex. I'm Joey. We're both part of Berserk Gaming. Today we want to talk to you about some Digimon and some topics we have on that.
Yeah, our first topic we're going to go over is the release of EXO3 and the metagame that's going to follow with EXO3. So, talking about the release of EXO3, the day of recording the podcast, it comes out tomorrow. So, I obviously don't buy into like a lot of the pre-sale prices, everything like that. Wait until release because a lot of the SRs are pretty much at $1. And a lot of the SRs and secret rares aren't actually playable.
Right.
Just because like I don't know, like Imperial Dramon, he's a cool card. It's a very cool concept, and I can't wait to play it. But it's just not going to be. He's not going to be what he's at right now. He's gonna drop pretty drastically for a secret rare.
Yeah. I jumped in on a auction on that card in two of the dragon modes because in my mind I was like, these are two SRs and a secret rare. He had it binned for 60. I questioned about pulling the trigger because you look at older sets, sometimes those secret rares go for about $50, $60. So I was like, this might save me some money in the long run, but I decided against it because like you mentioned, it's already kind of dropping.
Yeah, well, he's not as playable as like Examon, and we'll kind of dive into that in one of our other topics we're gonna go over, comparing comparing Imperial Dramon to the EXO2 stuff like Beelzemon and Gallantmon.
Yeah.
The Gallantmon is old, it's pretty high. The Gallant's like 30 right now, and then the Blast mode's also like 30. So anything really above that for the Secret Fighter mode isn't good, you know what I mean?
Right.
Examon will probably have. We'll see play. He will see play just because he's a fan favorite.
Right. People are going to want to see what that can do before putting it down.
Yeah, and he actually doesn't look too bad. Like he actually looks like he can be a pretty good contender deck.
Yeah.
But the only thing you have to watch is the Hydramon Bloomlord deck, which will be one of the biggest games in the meta.
Yes.
And since we're talking about metagame, as with the EX3 release, basically the BT9 decks will still be around, Metal Gurumon, Grandis, stuff like that, and Bloomlord Hydra will also join into that.
Right.
But there will be decks like I think Machine Dramon and Examon will see play. I don't know if they will have a lot of tops going into the Ultimate Cups this month.
Yeah.
D Brigade will also be another one that will respark a lot of interest.
It gained a lot of support.
Yeah, got a lot of support. Trying to see. I don't know. Old set wise, I don't think a lot of other decks come back really into the meta. It's just there's old decks that are already here that are coming into the meta, that are staying in the meta, and then there's a couple new ones coming out of EX3 that might come into the meta to play, or just support for older stuff to bring them into the meta.
So, EX sets, when they come out, EX, we have all kind of coined that they stand for an extra set, and they truly are. They're just an extra set. I think marketing-wise, they're kind of targeted to come out around a holiday, so that way people that aren't really buying things in mind of meta play, they're snagging some product for a loved one or something like that.
Yeah.
So it makes sense why a company would choose to do that. But are those sets really crucial for the game? Probably not. I know, Alex, you've got a really fresh opinion on that.
Yeah, I honestly don't think the EX sets are at all healthy for the game.
Yeah.
They usually come out like we had BT10 for 2 weeks in the US or North America scene, and now we're getting EX3.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's literally only one card coming out of EX3 that's Hydramon that's played in the Bloomlord deck. Most of the rest of that deck is just older cards. Like if you wanted to like pick the game up and already had Bloomlord and everything, or like you could probably just get the Bloomlords. They're like $5, I think.
Yeah.
And get the Hydramons when they come out tomorrow. You basically have a tier 1, tier 0 deck. But You don't need anything else out of EX3. You don't even have to buy a box of EX3 to have a tier 1 deck.
Yeah.
You just buy 4 copies of something.
It seems like in every EX set we've gotten, there's really only been like 1 or 2 cards from the set that joins the meta. Because we got Ice Wall EX1, and subsequently that thing also got hit with a restriction. So,
Yeah.
is it an accident? Maybe.
Kind of what you're saying, like the EX, that's like for a competitive standpoint, for like Ultra Cups, regionals, and all that other stuff, only one card ever really comes out of the set. So like EX1 was obviously the worst EX that we've had.
Even the
It
pull rates
has,
kill it.
yeah, it has like Machine Dramon came out of that set, and he keeps getting support. He'll be good this set, but he'll be better in BT11 when we get Analog Man and stuff like that. But like EX1 was like, I think the only card that comes off the top of my head is the what's his name? XVmon with Jammer for the Imperial
Oh
Dramon
yeah,
deck. And then Icewall. Like when EX came out, I think every Gabumon deck literally just put the Gabumon.
Analog Youth. That's also another one.
Yeah, Analog Youth. So into like the Gabumon situation, the EX set only give it like 2 cards.
Right.
Like you could run the Analog, but it primarily was running the Icefall and the Gabu. From the side of the set, there isn't much else. That was it.
Yeah. One thing that I remember about the Gabumon stuff is that deck became so popular. Like it became the top contender that everyone played that deck into the ground. And then we did start to see a little more cards from the EX1 set coming there, like the Kakumon, and that became a game changer. But even then, it would still get trumped by a card from outside the set, like Octomon. Like I think it was Octomon, but it could trump it every time.
Yeah, Octomon was one of the cards that was played in there, but just because it was like it was 7,000 and it like lived most swings, so you just got free. Your opponent had to kill it basically. The EX2 set was a little different just because we got Beelzemon, Gallantmon, and it was like a full-on supported set for different lines and Renamon and stuff like that. And Terrier was the other one, yeah. For the what season was that at the show? And it was Tamers. Season 3. The thing about like that set versus EX1 was it was based off Tamers, which was pretty popular, and it has a lot of popular Digimon in it. So Beelzemon and Gallantmon are going to keep getting support just because they are, for that show, they were like the Agu Gabu basically. And they're still getting support. Like Beelzemon's getting more support in BT12.
Yeah. And that's a good point too. I mean, I never really thought about kind of the plot structure of them being the Gabumon and Agumon of that season, but it really is kind of the same arc.
And then our next at EX3, Hydramon and Examon are probably going to be the big contenders coming out of that set, and that's about it probably.
So what do you think about that Hydramon art? I mean, it's a little. It's a little.
Hydramon?
I don't know, man. It's my favorite artist too. That's what. So I need a playset of it. But
who's the artist?
The Koki, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Koki.
Koki. But I love your work.
Yeah.
If you ever listen, thank you.
No, yeah, like I don't know. It's an interesting art.
Yeah.
It's very interesting, I will say. I don't. Yeah. It's something. But yeah, it's like that.
It's amazing how it completes Bloom Lord too. I mean, Bloom Lord is doing good with the Ludus Mon support, but that Hydramon just blows it up.
Yeah, it actually just pushes it over. Like the Ludus Mons are cool, but they don't actually facilitate your game state as your early level 6. Because like you're spamming your board of Bloom Lord, or trying to spam your board, and Hydramon can just like sit out there while you set your board up, basically.
Oh yeah.
And just like control the board state. There is a Ultimate Cup on Saturday that is going to have no EX3, but is going to have the ban list enacted. The rest of the Ultimate Cups are going to be primarily just EX3 with the ban list and so forth.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on the metagame for EX for this Saturday? We'll start with this first one.
Well, I mean, this will be our first real tournament with restrictions on Duro Greymon, won't it?
Yeah, first time Doro Gray got restricted, and with
So,
Doro Gray, Cross 4, Sunrise Buster, Calling
yeah.
are all at one for this tournament.
Duro Gray, I understand why that card is it's killer, and being put at one, it doesn't really hurt the Alphamon deck that much. I understand it
Mhm.
does take away the avalanche it can give to the security, but um, the rest of it, Sunrise Buster, when you're on the other side of that and you get hit by that, it's very demoralizing. And I think when they make these restriction calls, it's for the overall health of the game, like
Yeah,
player interaction. No one's having fun. Just like anytime you play a video game and you get these cutscenes, you can't do anything. You're like, oh, get me out of here, get me out of here. That's basically
yeah,
what you're forcing on your player base.
yeah,
So with that in mind, yeah, like I mean, I'm excited to see first of all what happens to those decks where they're abusing those cards. Sunrise Buster obviously being in the Crossheart deck,
yeah,
it's good, but everyone that plays it says the same thing. I don't feel good playing it because it just plays itself. Like I mean, I
yeah,
don't feel like I'm showing off my intuition when I play it. So, but I mean, I'm definitely interested to see what they're going to do without with the ban list. Um, I guess, why they would choose to not include EX3. Although, yes, it is
mhm,
officially out. Not everyone will have access to the cards, and I think they're
yeah,
doing that to protect the player base by not purchasing these pre-release hiked prices.
yeah. And it's a day away, so
Yeah.
it's like it'd give everybody one day to get their stuff,
Hmm.
and kind of like you said, trying to protect them from that. But yeah, with Cross 4 getting hit and the Alphamon getting hit pretty heavily, and calling getting hit does hurt a lot of the loop purple decks like Minerva,
Yeah.
and then Cross getting hit, which Minerva I think had a good matchup into,
Oh yeah.
also hurts that deck too. So it deck indirectly hit and it got hit at the same time. But without Cross 4 being at 4 and Alphamon having the Doro Gray at 4, I think the BT9 decks like Grandis and Metal
Hmm.
are probably going to have probably the best showing.
Yeah.
And when I was in Texas for the regional, I got ninth place in. There was a lot of Armor Rush at the beginning. It felt like.
Yeah.
I think it did trickle down after a little bit, just because the week before that the Armor Rush deck won an event, and it had the two Jesmon GXs in it and
Oh
everything.
yeah.
Yeah, that one.
That one, everybody's like,
And
"Oh, I was running Jesmon GX already." Believe me.
yeah.
Okay.
So basically there was that. So it was there was a lot of it, and I feel like there's still going to be a lot of it coming into this, because Alpha won't be around. There won't be a lot of the EX decks yet, so stuff like that's going to be happening basically. Any thoughts after that?
Yeah, I totally forgot about calling being hit, but that's one card I think I know I've been saying for a while this needs to be hit because it's incredibly busted. Uh,
Yeah.
in fact, it's probably the only card in the game that every time I read it, I have to question its sequencing. I'm like, no, can I do this and this? It drives me nuts. Uh,
Yeah.
so that I'm see ya. Just kidding. I love that card. I'm sad to see it go.
Oh, well, a lot of decks already ran it at like a very low ratio, like 1 or 2.
Yeah, I
There
know.
was there was the decks, like certain decks that were abusing it
Yeah.
because they could, were running it at like 4. Um, and a deck we were going to get an EX3 that could infinitely loop was running it at 4, but we won't ever get to see that now.
In official play, at least.
Yeah, and an official play.
You can always
But
bust
yeah,
it around, slap somebody with it at
yeah.
home.
So what do you think is going to win the Saturday tournament then?
So we know OTK decks right now kind of have a. I can't say we know, and kind of OTK decks definitely in the current meta have an edge because your win condition has built-in invulnerability in the raising area. Uh, and I don't know. I think at its heart, that's kind of where the game. It may be stylized to be an OTK
Yeah.
game, um, and so to resist it is to resist the game in some ways. But um, I think those two decks really have the best chance.
Hmm.
Of course, we may see something crazy come out, but
Yeah. I think a one deck that actually benefited heavily from this restriction list and the fact EX3 is not around is going to be the Imperial one from VT8.
really,
I think it's going to have. It has a very good armor matchup because they can, if you go into the Jogress play, you can bot deck them. So if they can't get into the Magna X, they lose their armor.
oh, you're talking about getting into fighter mode.
Yeah. And then,
Okay.
no, PAL, level 5. Because everything is
Oh,
5,000 or he
yeah,
bottom deck because they don't hit above 6,000 on your turn.
right.
So he bottom decks them all.
Jeez.
And if they're sometimes that deck just draws really fast and really great, and you basically go rookie XV, have Sting in hand, and you raise up, you swing up XV, you sometimes get him and go to 3, drop the Sting, and you're in the play. And it's like without like Alphamon around,
Yeah.
and Black or Gray didn't do so well at
Mhm.
the regional, and the fact that Cross got hit also hurts him
Yeah.
until we get the Black or Gray X antibody. I feel like this is Imperial's last chance, at least until his new support comes out, to
Yeah.
win an event.
Forever. Jeez.
Yeah,
He
because
is
once,
forever.
because after this week, he's not going to be able to win against Bloom Lord Hydra.
And I'm here to
That's
make sure of that.
um. So do you want to talk about the Ultimate Cups with EX3?
Yeah, with EXO3 Ultimate Cups.
Yes.
Man, there's just honestly a whole lot that I'm excited for, and it's all green.
Basically.
Man, I've been playing green closeted since set 4. I mean, I won my first big
Mhm.
tournament with Grandis, and that felt so good. But
Nice.
I mean, that's back when the meta was just a simple math game. I mean, I turbo
Yeah.
ahead of you, I swing ahead of you, and I won. Uh,
Yep.
the game is much more complicated now, but uh, in a good way,
Yeah.
especially with the EX3 stuff. Hydramon, just aside from looking amazing, it is amazing.
Hmm.
And it's going to be nice to have a secondary like boss monster for that structure that doesn't just feel like a resting point for my win condition, but progresses me and, like you said, puts you over the top. I mean, it really
Yeah.
does.
Now, in EX3, there's one deck I haven't mentioned yet, and it is the Lynx deck.
Yeah.
Do you know about the Lynx Dragon? You know what
I
it does, right?
So I actually have no idea what it does because every time I see a deck list, I'm just like, okay, what is it? So tell me about it.
So it has the ability to activate its on play stuff, and it also has the ability to prevent evolution.
Oh no.
So, and that
Oh
counts
no.
Jawgrass.
What do you mean by
So,
prevent evolution? How does this effect get off?
how does it prevent?
How does one prevent evolution? Like what are you doing to prevent it?
So the cards have on play effects,
Yeah.
but you don't on play them. The tamer activates their on play effects essentially. The level 6 Metallic Dramon does Digivolve 1, all your opponent's Digimon, then you Digivolve ones on all your opponent's Digimon, then delete one of your opponent's Digimon with play cost 5 or less. If nothing was deleted by this effect, none of your opponent's unsuspended Digimon can Digivolve until the end of your turn. So they have to basically attack with them to Digivolve with them.
Wow.
So that means like the exit, like Imperial Dramon, he wants to attack with that XVmon, but when he hard plays the Stingmon, he can't Digivolve that Stingmon because
Ooh,
it's not tapped. Um,
interesting.
yeah. Bloom Lord will probably have like a really good matchup into it just because it can tap its own stuff. But all the other evolution decks like Examon and stuff like that, If this goes off, it just stalls. It just stops their turn. And if you can keep reactivating that on play effect, you just prevent them from playing the game at that point.
Which, as I stated earlier, that's not healthy for gameplay. People don't want to feel like they're stuck in a.
Yeah.
Which some loop decks also do that. I mean, the first time I played against Minervamon, I just kind of like kicked back and I was like, all right, like show me what you're doing. And I kind of took a chance in letting this guy just, tell me how these cards work
Yeah.
instead of reading it, which rule number one, read the cards. Read the cards. I wasn't doing it. I accepted defeat. Once I saw that start happening, I was like, all right, what's this guy going to do?
Over.
But that was my fault. I should have played more.
Yeah, so basically the Lynx have 2 level 6s. They have Metallic Dramon. His other effect is he gets Reboot and Blocker on your opponent's turn, which is nice. Then Volcanic Dramon is actually pretty cool too. He does basically the same thing. He deletes all your Digimon, all your opponent's Digimon with the lowest DP. But if he doesn't delete anything, you can't play any Digimon with 5,000 or less until the end of your turn. So like Bloom Lord, you can't play your level 4s because they're all like 3k.
Yeah.
And then his when attacking is pretty cool too, because you'll always have a tamer out. When you attack with him, he trashes one of your security.
So he's gonna be a problem.
Yeah. This deck actually, I've been looking at it, and I think it does have some merit.
Yeah.
I think it actually can be. It has more merit than the 4 Great Dragons, sadly.
Honestly, the 4 Great Dragons, if it was a purple based deck, I think it would be busted. Because
Oh yeah.
a lot of those effects are like if it's in your trash, then just recycle it, keep going, do mega damage, and then. But yellow it's hard to get things in trash, and then once you do, it's dead. I mean, it lives there.
Yeah. Well, like the 4 Great Dragons, there's a security control version of the 4 Great Dragons deck. The issue is if you don't draw the 4 Great Dragon option,
Yeah.
the deck actually doesn't do anything.
No.
Because you have to draw the option for the deck to function.
So your success hinges on 4 cards.
Pretty much, yeah.
Rough.
Yeah. What's this guy? Aegis Dramon coming out into the EX3 meta. I don't think he'll do a lot.
Yeah.
But he could surprise people. But I think he's going to be the most lackluster. Imperial Dramon is a big high roll deck. If you get it, you get it. That's basically how he's going to work. Examon, well, I'm going to talk about him last. Chaos Dramon and Dark Dramon are going to be the 2 coming out of this set that aren't like guaranteed tier 1, but they will see a lot of play. Based on basically like Deep Brigade it's a rush deck. Yeah. And Chaos Dramon a fan favorite. And I'm gonna build Chaos Dramon just because like it looks so much fun to be able to build this guy. Digivolve 3 on one of your opponent's Digimon. No. And then he can't be balanced or destroyed. Yeah. Just so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to bust that one. And then I'm really excited to see what people do with the Examon too.
Yeah. Examon we'll probably see besides Hydramon. And yeah, out of Hydramon, we'll probably see the most play. But don't buy your Hydramon. Wait to buy those Examons because the Examon regular and secret rare or alt art are the exact same price right now.
Wow.
They're both $40.
Or trade somebody if you got a regular, find somebody with an alt art. Give my
there you go. But yeah, I was like, it's kind of weird. But yeah, he'll see the most play. He has a very cool mechanic. He has evade, and then he has the ability to force your opponent to attack, which is really cool. And it actually shuts down the BT9 OTK decks like Grandis and stuff because they waste a turn attacking, and then he also gets blocker and evade. So even if you were to die, which you probably won't against them, he's just gonna block them.
Yeah.
And then he can unsuspend himself and suspend something else. I don't know. He just does a lot.
So what is evade?
Evade?
Yeah.
So if you were to be deleted by card effect or battle, basically, he can suspend himself. and then he doesn't die.
Okay. Wow.
Now the cool thing is Examon has an all turns effect where he can, when he suspends himself, he can unsuspend. So, like I think it's only once per turn though, so you only can do that once, but it's all
Okay.
turns.
Yeah.
So basically, you hit him with something, he suspends, he unsuspends, and then he suspends one of your opponent's Digimon.
Oh,
So
what's
he has
that?
board
Green
control.
control. Yeah.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Green and blue working in harmony
Oh,
together.
the way it should be.
Unsuspending and suspending your opponent's stuff. Wonderful. Yeah, if they get into it, he's just a big boss monster. A lot of decks actually don't think can deal with him. Black or Gray can't even attack him because it's pretty pointless.
Yeah.
The Lynx deck actually probably messes his deck up pretty badly. Just preventing it from evolving kind of sucks in most decks anyway. Trying to think, who is it? The D Brigade deck probably doesn't care since it's just going to try and rush you down.
Yeah. You're getting a lot of recursion with that deck. You're not really
Yeah.
trying to climb.
Metal Grur.
Uh, I will say the new new archetype, it does kind of promote climbing though, but
Yeah.
the basically the effect to not evolve that doesn't affect the raising area still, right?
No.
So I mean, we're back to what I was thinking. Oh, maybe this strategy will help us with the OTK decks. No.
Well, so the OTK decks like Grandis, once you have the promo Akumon, then it wants to raise out. Basically, if you just keep locking their evolution,
Yeah.
they have to go all the way into they basically have to evolve into the Grandis at some point.
Yeah.
Because they have to Digiburst with the promo. And if you can lock their evolution, they can never do the Digiburst.
And then they're vulnerable.
So you can actually stop that. The
see.
Melga deck doesn't really care,
Yeah.
kind of.
Jeez.
But it does hurt that deck too. Because he can't jump into the 5X antibody or into his 6. So it does slow him down drastically too. But he could that deck probably can balance their stuff and probably can outpace this deck if it falls behind. I'm trying to think, but yeah, X1 probably has a good matchup into the BT9 deck just because when they raise out to go into their OTK turn, he can just make them attack him and he can just block and kill him. But he probably does not do well into the Hydra Bloom Lord deck because he just gets bottom decked and he can't evade that. So I think the big winner of the Ultimate Cup probably will be the Bloom Lord Hydra with the OTK decks. And Examon, D Brigade, Chaos Dramon will follow behind it.
Well, there's also something to be said about the people that play anti-meta that are anticipating Bloom Lord Hydra. So what do you think?
True.
What do you think the anti-meta call is there?
I think it's Beelzebub.
Beelzebub, really?
I think
Beelzebub. Because I mean, you get him out, you really dominate a board that goes by, and it rewards you.
Yeah. So Hydra's a 13 cost. What is a Bloom Lord? Is he a 13?
Yeah.
It kind of revolves on his play cost, I guess. But I still think if it's above 13, that would be no, at least 12. That kind of sucks, but it can be worked around a little bit. Beelzebub has a lot of options that he can trash out of his deck and pop little things. The other cool thing is the blast mode can kill multiple Hydras at once, or multiple Bloom Lords at once. So that's pretty cool, actually. Yeah. He can just be like board wipe. That's pretty cool. Anti-meta call. Gallantmon could be another good anti-medical. There was a guy in the Asian scene, and he was running the red purple one. He wasn't running the McGee the evil level 6, but he was just running like gallants at the end, and he was pretty consistently topping with it, I would say. So there is a merit to that deck, and that deck can pop a lot of the Hydramon's little things.
Yeah.
So yeah, so both those decks, talk about EX decks, both of those two EX decks could see our recursions because of this.
It was just really unfortunate that at the time they really fleshed out those archetypes that they brought in D Reaper, and it was just completely unbothered by those effects. It's like, okay, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't have a level, and you can't kill me.
Yeah.
So
Well, speaking of that, so then how do you feel about the state of the game right now? Coming back from a larger regional in
mhm.
Texas, the Nishi Fest, you were actually able
Yeah,
to meet some important key figures too in the game, I hear.
yeah, the developers were there,
Okay.
which was really cool. Um, there was the judge staff and everything, which they're pretty high up in the Digimon chain, I would say,
Oh, yeah.
compared to us. A lot higher than us. But like the state of the game is still like OTK.
Hmm.
The Beelstar deck did win it, which is a control deck, and based like I don't know, it's weird because based on your matchups with that deck, you can win because like if they just like if you're playing against a Grandis or a Metal and they hit an option, it just the stack dies.
Yeah.
Like it just dies. There's nothing they can do.
Yep.
If you play against like Armor Rush, that kind of sucks because you can't actually just kill their stuff. And same with Crossheart, they don't care if they die. But I think he had like 6 bouncing options, so bouncing
Yeah.
does hurt armor and does hurt cross a little bit.
I think
Because
that's the first time we saw 7 Kokaitis Breath as
yeah,
a staple.
there you go. There anything but coming back from a state of the game wise, I think the BT9 OTK decks are going to be here to stay. And when we get to the last topic, we'll dive a little more into that. But they're just Metal Garurumon and Grandis. They're not going anywhere. Alpha's only leaving because he got hit with a restriction. The Wargrey X is a bit high rolly, so he doesn't do too well. Black War Gray, it's kind of weird he didn't have any tops. Like nothing in top 16 if I'm not mistaken. Like he just faltered heavily.
Yeah. I think I think a lot of that had to do with people are really looking forward to the next set for him. And they're like, I'm kind of done playing this now. I'm going to move on to something else
Yeah.
because everybody and their mom was playing it whenever everybody and their mom was playing Crossheart.
Mhm.
So I imagine there's a lot of
Well,
burnt out players.
but Crossheart hasn't been doing too well.
I think it's because it's been getting bullied by
I
our
think, but
Black War Greys.
yeah, but like I don't know. There's like a lot of Crossheart players
Mhm.
that play, and they're beating the Black War Gray decks.
Oh, it's definitely beatable.
So like,
But if they can establish
is
board state first, then you're just kind of slapping
yeah,
them around. You're like, no,
yeah.
no.
But like, in all honesty, this Black War Gray, I don't think it's super hard counters the Crossheart matchup anyway.
No.
I still think the Crossheart matchup has a really good time into it, but Crossheart just didn't perform as well over here for some reason. So
I
it's
wonder
kind
if
of
it had to do with Blue Flare. Blue Flare kind of seemingly at first wasn't really getting a lot of attention, and it seems to be getting a lot more attention now.
I think it's getting more attention because of the ban list
Mm-hmm.
or restriction list. Yeah, I think that's its big takeaway is Crossheart got restricted, and it's going to basically try and come into the meta. I think it's probably a good meta call for Hydra because it can stun lock their board.
Yeah.
They're kind of low to the ground like a Rookie Rush armor deck anyway. So even if they lose their stuff, it really doesn't affect the deck.
Yeah.
So.
And you get all that recursion.
You have a lot of search too.
Yeah. At the same time, it's so busted.
But for like state of the game, like let's do like competitive wise, you can get into the game and just buy BT9 stuff, and you're pretty set for like at least 3 metas from what it looks like, unless they hit us with a restriction list.
Right.
But if there's no restriction list coming, yeah, the BT9 decks are just like, I'm here to stay. You can just buy me, never buy another set, and we can just keep playing the game forever. So you don't need BT10. You don't need EX3.
Yeah.
You don't even need BT11.
That's block 3. We're not playing.
Yeah. Yeah. Or BT9. I can just OTK you every game.
Yeah. I want to play BT 1 through 3. That's where my heart is.
But yeah, it's like, cause like Grandis got 4 cards out of BT10. Metal Garurumon, realistically, got 1 card. So
It doesn't even need it. I mean, it's
no, it
so
it improves its
stupid.
control matchup, but it doesn't need it. It doesn't need on X in a body,
Mm,
but it makes its control matchup better.
yeah.
But it doesn't need it. So I don't know. What do you think state of the game wise? We talked about competitive. What about for like the casual player?
As self-proclaimed casual king, uh, it's great. I mean, when they introduced all these split-leveled cards or split-colored cards, it really opened up a lot of realms of personality. It opened up a lot of realms of possibilities for people. We've got
Yeah.
a lot of people on our Discord that are constantly posting what we call fun decks, just because they're
Hmm.
not competitive. That's just the realm we tend to live in. Uh,
Yeah.
but at its heart, we got to remember this is still a game, and you got to
Yeah.
have fun with it. But as far as that goes, it seems like every color is really kind of fleshing out into its own play style. Whereas we
Hmm.
used to say things like green is the only control style color in the game in the
Hmm.
earlier sets, we know that's not to be true now.
Yeah.
Blue hybrids really shook that up. Um, Same thing with going wide. That used to be a green thing, I believe. Black too, maybe. And now blue has its own style of going wide with source splitting.
Yeah.
It's becoming its own archetype as well, and it's really fun to see a level 5 come out with Rush, and it's just unfortunately it's not a top tier deck yet,
Yeah.
but we're seeing a lot of cards come out with every set that seems to try to harmonize with older archetypes. Uh,
Yeah.
every time we see a Gallantmon come out, it seems to always have some kind of DP based deletion effect.
Hmm.
And so every time a card comes out for that, you're really excited to see, you know what, I may be able to keep my old deck in and just spice it up with this new stuff.
Yeah.
So as far as a casual game goes, it's great. Prices on cards are at an all-time great price too. I mean, there are some cards that like Dexmon or Death Exmon, you can't buy
Hmm.
that guy right now secondhand. I mean, it's like $100, $75. But here's the deal: if you're playing at home or you're playing with some friends on the side, you don't need it. And if you buy
No.
it, they're probably gonna hate you because you just increase the power gap of your friend's decks by $100. When in
Yeah.
reality, you could build decks for that in this game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the game is super cheap compared to
Yeah,
other card games. But yeah, like if you're playing casually, like you don't need Death X.
no,
You don't need all like the promo cards.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, there's a lot of cool casual decks. So regardless of which way you like to play, like the cool thing about the casual thing is like the game is cheap and there's a lot of fun, really fun decks to play.
oh yeah,
Um, but yeah, and a lot of them keep getting support. So, but like the popping bodies out from underneath like blue is it's been in the game since like the first set.
yeah. Even the
It's just never
structure
been
deck.
yeah, it just wasn't good.
Yeah.
But like it's getting more support. So it's like for like a cool casual like deck or even maybe one day like an actual like competitive deck, it'll be a real fun deck to play, I think.
For sure.
To be able to spit bodies out from underneath you.
The and another thing that Bandai I'll say is doing really well as a game host and creator,
Hmm.
uh, they really pay attention to the second-hand market,
Yeah.
and there's evidence of that in these reprints. For example, Davis was a card that came out. Was it the second set? Yeah, second set,
Yeah, 1.5.
and has been a $20 card since it came out. It is a staple in blue decks, now green
Yeah.
decks, and they finally gave us an alt art of it that
Hmm.
crashed that price, and the alt art that's shiny, textured, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it in a minute, but I believe it's even cheaper than the original one.
Yeah.
So they do try to reward you, or they do pay attention to the game, even though some
Off top
people would argue against that.
yeah. Off topic, which ones do you like? Do you like the foil or do you like the old gold trim?
Oh, you know where I stand on this. I felt like the gold trim was so classy. I was like, this is a rare card. And I just wish they would bring back the gold box. You can keep all the rest of it still
Hmm.
full art and glossy, but bring back the gold border. That was so cool. And I have a hard time getting rid of those rares actually because I'm like,
I refuse to get rid of them.
yeah, they're so nice.
They're like the best thing they ever did. I was like they're not foil, but they're gold trimmed.
It
And
almost
it's
looks
like
like gold inlay, like someone
it,
like hand laid that gold into the card.
yeah. And it's like I don't know. I just really like the way the gold trim is. It's a nice little. It's just different than other games.
Yeah, it was very different. It was very unique. I know a lot of people gave it grief for potentially damaging cards.
Yeah.
Um, on the flip side, they would say you could use that to then pick that card out in your deck, and I'm like, dude, once you sleeve this, you if you can see that, you have skills that need to be applied somewhere else because you are
That's
inhuman. Like that's
yeah. That's
amazing.
why they changed the rules. You gotta have those dual matte dragon sleeves,
Is that a
dragon
rule
shield
now?
sleeves. Yeah, you can't see the back of your. If you can look at the sleeve and you can see the back, you basically can't use those sleeves anymore.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
So
Yeah.
like most people that are playing this game just buy dual mats because they have the black inside
Hmm.
and they have the color on the other side. Which I like the dual mats for my Bandai games just because of the way it is.
They print their cards on a white back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bandai, I mean, they have truly become a powerhouse of games. I mean, we have Dragon Ball, which when it came out, very split on people were very
Mhm.
split about it. Like they thought, no, this game won't last 2 years, and now we're what 5, 6 years in.
Yeah, it's at a really high set number right now.
Yeah, no signs of stopping.
I don't play I don't play the game, but yeah, it's
We
a
got a
very
lot to
high
do.
number. It's currently
And Battle Spirits, that's another Bandai property.
hmm
Man, I Bandai, send us stuff, man.
No, yeah, like Battle Spirits, Dragon Ball, One Piece, and Digimon. Like it's like we've kind of hit like balancing the game at top tier and low in for casual players. We talked about it kind of.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and just go like talk about Bandai as a whole, card game wise. So with all their IPs, they have 4 now.
Hmm.
2 are currently from every time they do that top 10 report thing. Dragon Ball and Digimon have constantly been in the top 10 report, if I'm not mistaken.
And
Dragon Balls is
what is
at the
that telling
low.
us, Alex?
The
Like,
Bandai makes good games.
yeah.
um,
That's exactly right.
now One Piece. I'll talk about Battle Spirits later. One Piece has the potential, I think, to break the top 3
No doubt.
because
No doubt.
it's a huge IP. I believe the thing I saw today on their Twitter or Facebook was they opened a own shop for it. I don't know what the shop is, but there's a shop,
Yeah.
and I don't
It's one of those
know.
pop-up shops, though. I think that
Is that what it is?
they they're they classically do this, even with like their model kits and stuff. They
Okay.
when they're like launching something, they'll
Hmm.
dedicate a store space, and I love it because it's like the most Disney approach to doing something. Because when you
Yeah.
walk in, you feel like you're a part of that world or universe.
Hmm.
Uh, it's very artistic, and I love it. Why can't you
Yeah.
do it
Like
for us, Bandai?
Digimon probably didn't get it because when Digimon came out, it was during COVID.
Yeah,
So yeah.
but COVID might have been the best thing for it. I don't know.
Yeah. I think COVID probably helped Digimon too. So there's that. Trying to see. There we go. But yeah, I think One Piece has the potential to be a very high grossing game and a very popular game. Not just play wise, but collecting wise. Because Digimon isn't really a collecting game anymore.
No.
It's more of a play game. Like you play like there is collectors out there that do collect the game, but there's not a lot of them. Not like a game like Pokemon.
Because
You
what we're
know.
seeing is a lot of these cards that come out, a lot of cards that come out, they don't retain their value. They may start out 50 60
Yeah.
dollars and then they just drop, they fall off.
Mhm.
So the meta really does heavily dictate a card's worth right now.
Mhm.
But even then, we're still talking tens of dollars. We're not talking hundreds of dollars like
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh or something like that.
Yeah.
But there are, I would say, maybe 2 or 3 cards right now that are in Digimon that we're kind of hoping will stand the test of time and maybe gain value.
Mhm.
Those SR Omnimons and Ghost Omnimons, please keep going up.
The Ghost Omni and the Ghost Alpha will hold something because just how low pull rate it is.
Yeah,
The original Omni, I don't know. He's the
he
BT1 Omni, the
fluctuates.
old
He
art. He's
fluctuates.
kind of, yeah, he's a strange one. He's getting reprinted in a gold rare from that anniversary set, but still, he could go up back up one day when there's
Yep.
no more of him. It all revolves around what that reprint said. Like if they just reprint that Old Art Omni in that set the exact same with no indication, it'll destroy that card's price though.
Oh, absolutely.
I hope they don't do that. I hope they give the cards different arts. So yeah, and then Battle Spirits is coming out. I don't know if that game will be popular or not. Like they did have cash prize pool, but I don't think it will reach Digimon, One Piece, and Dragon Ball popularity.
No.
Just because the game, like it exists in Japan, but it doesn't have an IP backing it like One Piece, Digimon, and Dragon Ball.
Now, something I did hear about Battle Spirits is we kind of have it to thank for getting Digimon back on the market. I was told they did a special event that basically was like they brought in some Digimon cards into the game, and then basically that resurgence caused people to be like, "Hey, we kind of like Digimon," and Bandai took notice of that. Did you hear
Huh.
about that?
I heard something about it, like there was like a crossover they
Yeah,
did,
a crossover event.
but I wasn't exactly sure how it helps the game. I know they had like Digimon cards in it,
Well,
but
it
yeah,
was
or something like that.
basically to show that there was interest in this IP again in that
Hmm.
sense. Oh, here
Okay.
they are. Cool. Looks like there was just a few cards. Anyways, we can talk about this on the side.
Yeah. All right. And our last topic, the future, BT11 and nationals. So BT11 has been so far. We don't have it yet, but in the Asian format, they do have BT11
Yeah.
and BWGX, because I think that's way cooler than saying Black War Greymon X Antibody, has dominated the meta.
Since
So
birth, since inception.
pretty much, Hades Force is a good card. So good, in fact. Bloom Lord isn't winning any more events.
No.
So I don't know. Like, is Nats just going to be like last year? Is it just going to be
Mirror.
Gabubon, Gabubond? But this time it's going to be BWGX versus BWGX every single game? Or will there be, or do you think there'll be diversity with the OTK decks? Because like, as long as they don't hit Grandis and Melga, those will probably be the other diversity, maybe.
Yeah, we also get support for Crossheart.
Mhm.
We have Shaman maybe too.
Yeah.
The Lynx deck that you're talking about that comes out that set too.
No,
Um,
Links comes out EX3.
okay.
We get that now.
Is there not Lynx support in it though?
I don't remember.
I guess I don't know either. I don't know, man.
I don't think there is.
I don't know. It's the OTK decks. They, I think so.
I
Uh,
think
I
I
gotta.
think because we get to see the Asian format or JP
Yeah,
format, whatever you want to call it, we'll be more prepared for it. So I think Grandis actually has a chance to take it because he doesn't care about Black War Greymon. He actually just attacks Black War Greymon.
yeah.
So there's that. But It could be like it could end up like the same thing, like BWGX just in like Gababon being the same thing. 2 Nats in a row, the same concept.
I just don't want to see a mirror for finals. It does nothing good for the game when that happens.
You don't want to see 2 Gababons, then out Worlds 2 blue hybrid decks.
Man, I don't want to see 2 yellow hybrids ever again. That's what I don't want to see. Ugh.
What? We're getting red hybrid support. You've seen
Yeah,
that.
dude, I'm excited for that. It's not my
Yeah.
red hybrid build, but it makes that build worth trying.
Yeah. Gastramon just get the analog man and another machine Dramon. Which does make him actually pretty good. There was, I think, one result in their format where it was like 4 went to a big event and 4 topped. Oh, like so I think Machine Dramon is really underrated in that meta.
Oh, we
But
get
now
Venmon too. What deck is that?
Venmon's a very interesting one.
I want to try that.
Have you seen what they've been doing with Venmon?
I watched Card Protagonist do that one.
Okay, I don't know if it's I don't think he built it more like traditional. There's a control version of it that people are playing. And
Toxicity, you say?
Yeah, and it's actually doing pretty good. So if people can build Venmon in the Control S version, I think it actually could do something. Because it's like, what's his level 6 called?
I'm looking for it. Yeah.
He's somewhere in here. There's Destromon. That's one of them.
Is it Galactimon?
Yeah, he's the secret rare actually, isn't he? Yeah, there he is, Galactimon. Yeah, he's a control. People have been playing it like a control deck. Just because they can be like, you have to attack him, and he trashes your security set. He's just a monster. There he is, Galactimon. He's pretty cool. Going over that, the Mastamon deck also is doing pretty good from what it looked like. So it could be another top contender.
We got a new Mastamon on the set, right?
Yeah, we got the new Mastamon support. Our first SR tamer plus our first secret rare tamer and the Vidramon stuff.
Oh yeah, which I'm not excited about that.
It's not too great.
No.
It is the Mirage Galgamon stuff's pretty good if you play it with Leomon.
Yeah, was it you that shared that list? That's like it actually topped, didn't it? It's
like
the first time we saw a Leomon really top.
Yeah, well, yeah. It plays Mirage Galgamon and stuff like that as his top end, but yeah, Leomon is very good with him, which is really funny. Another for fun deck or a potential nuisance deck, I can see it on your screen, is King Sukamon. Do you know what he does?
Where is that guy?
He kills your opponent's Digimon. Not him.
Man, I honestly have been waiting for this deck for so long.
So, is it the inheritable? Yeah. So, the inheritable of the Sukamon is basically, if he were to die, you can kill a Sukamon instead. King Suka turns one of your opponent's Digimon into a Sukamon. So if King dies, you kill their Sukamon. Like,
what? That's crazy.
It's so funny.
Oh, and we got more Chumons in this set too.
Yeah. Now the sad thing about the deck is, which they could have made it really good if we just had a really good Metal Edamon.
I know, right?
If you had a really strong level 6, he'd have been so good.
I wish they'd undo the errata on the EX01 one.
Like, he would have such good board control as a level 5, and then if you just had like a level 6, like after you do your level 5 shenanigans, you know, turn them into a Sukamon, attack the security die, kill their Sukamon instead, then go into a 6 to end your turn. Oh, now that guy, Mirage Galgamon.
That's a combo.
But yeah, we have the issue with King Suka is he has no like ending play.
Yeah.
He has Metal Edamon, which basically you reveals top 4, and you can play any number of Chumons, Sukamons, or Edamons that play a cost of 7 or less.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's all of them?
That's it. Like, after that, you don't do anything. Like, he's just Edamon. He just attacks. He has no wind attacking. He has a weird wind digivolving effect. That's it.
Man.
So yeah.
Mirage Galgamon looks really good.
So it's a deck that could surprise people, like with the Leomon stuff, because Leomon gains. I know you were playing Leomon.
Oh yeah.
Um, basically you just gain value from killing, like having them die, like the show. And Mirage Galgamon basically burns your opponent's security. Like, who would have thought Mirage Galgamon and Leomon?
Man, and then you've also got built-in ice wall.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Like,
Uh,
yeah, when an effect adds a card to their hand, so basically
yeah.
they can't draw extra cards.
Man.
Yeah, like
That,
I think he
that
has
would feel
really
terrible.
yeah.
Zeke Greymon. Oh, there's the Chew boy.
There he is. Yeah, Chumon, Sukamon. I don't know if it will see the light of day, but it did win an event over there.
You better
So
believe I'm gonna play it.
I think it's gonna be really fun to play, and it will be really cheap to play too. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
That inheritable is great.
Which one? The rat? Yeah, he's good.
The other thing is with this archetype being a yellow black, that gives you some really heavy control options. I mean,
Yeah.
you could anti-meta this deck so easy.
Mm-hmm.
We should do a tournament where it's like build your own poop deck.
Yep. What does the 5 do? Deleting another Jumasugamon's name, prevent deletion. Like, he's got to find a 6 that works really good with him. Let's just put him in a security control deck and call it good.
Yeah,
That's how
honestly. You could go into like a Digimon that's like on deletion, gain a memory or gain a security, and just loop it from there. I don't know. Stadova.
Yeah.
Reapermon. Ooh. I think Reapermon's overlooked.
Yeah, he's another overlooked one. The EX stuff probably won't see a lot of play in Nats. Reaper's pretty bad right now. Blast mode needs a structure deck potentially to be really, really good.
What do you think hurt Reaper? Like
Black or Gray and Jesmon existing as a
Exactly.
tier 1.5 deck. Who?
Sorry, no, just the fact that it exists.
Who?
Black War and Jesmon. It cracked me up. I don't know
why. Yeah, both of them existing as like a good deck basically makes Black Mother unplayable.
Yeah.
Renamon will just have the Renamon followers that keep playing it. Gallantmon potential, another potential deck. So.
We got some Dark Knight support too. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that deck. I don't think backtracking to the Ultra Cups. I don't think it's going to top anything this week coming up weekends because Crossheart was its favorable matchup because it could pop the Tamers. So right. Potentially being less play and more BT9. Yeah, there's the machine. Such a good card. And the Analog Man can play Machinerbonds for free.
We're gonna bust that deck wide open. That's that deck, good.
I'm like, there has to be a way to make that deck good. Like, there's just no way it's a bad deck.
Man, with option cards like heavy machine, whatever, heavy mobile support or something like that, I bet we can do it.
Especially, yeah, giving it Rush Blitz and playing it for free.
God, easy.
It's gotta be something. We just need those promo cards that we never got.
So I wonder how they're gonna do that too, because I want the promo Pulsemons. I'm frustrated. Yeah. I want that so bad. Every time I get slapped into my security with no repercussions, I'm like, I hate you so much.
But yeah, I think that's it for our topics.
Yeah.
Do you have any closing?
No. I got nothing in closing, guys. Alex, you got any recommendations?
I know we talked a lot about metagame and casual play and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, like if you go to like locals and stuff like that, just play what you want.
Yeah.
Like even in Ultimate Cups, a lot of weird stuff can top in the Ultimate Cups. Like even like at regionals, like I know Beelzemon at Gen Con got second place. It's like then Beelstar won the regional in Texas.
Yeah.
Like, just because an archetype isn't put highly on lists doesn't mean it can't win.
Exactly.
That's the cool thing about this game. You just like most decks don't necessarily choke out other decks, but there are for like high level of play, there are just decks that are better, but still any deck can still win at the end of the day.
Yeah. And who
Until we get
knows?
mulligans.
Yeah, man. Which I'm okay with that. It increases the amount of games you actually get to play, so that's fine.
Exactly.
Nobody wants to. I mean, it feels terrible because yeah, you want the win, but when your opponent is just like defeated, you can see it on their face. You know they've got 5 level 6s in their hand. It's
And
nothing to emulate.
you're just like, I win, right? And they're
Yeah.
like, man,
No.
didn't even get to play the game.
They drag it out and it's your fault. Thanks for listening, everyone. I'm Joey.
I'm Alex.
And this has been Ludus Magnus, and we're out.